Close your eyes and let your breath soften, as if carried by a warm, gentle breeze across the golden sands of ancient Egypt. Picture the Nile River, its waters glimmering like molten silver beneath a twilight sky, where stars twinkle like scattered jewels. The air is heavy with the scent of lotus blossoms, myrrh, and the sweet whisper of date palms swaying in the evening calm. Tonight, we journey through the life of Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, a woman whose brilliance, courage, and mystique wove a tapestry of history and legend. As you listen, let the worries of your day dissolve, sinking into the soft, tranquil embrace of Alexandria's ancient shores. Imagine yourself reclining on a cushioned barge, drifting along the Nile as her story unfolds like a dream, guiding you toward restful sleep. Imagine yourself standing on the sun-warmed stones of Alexandria in 69 BCE, the heart of a city that pulses with life. The Mediterranean Sea laps gently at the harbor, its turquoise waves catching the light like a mosaic of sapphires. Above, the great lighthouse of Pharos towers, its beacon flame a golden star guiding ships through the night. The air is alive with the calls of merchants hawking silks from Persia, spices from India, and papyrus scrolls from the Nile's banks. Feel the warmth of the sun on your shoulders, the faint mist of sea spray on your skin, as you wander toward the royal palace, its white marble walls gleaming like polished ivory. Here, in this vibrant crossroads of Greek, Egyptian, and countless other cultures, Cleopatra, the seventh Cleopatra, is born into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a lineage tracing back to Ptolemy I, trusted general of Alexander the Great. Picture the palace gardens, where young Cleopatra, no more than 5 or 6, chases the dappled shadows of palm fronds across mosaic floors. Her dark curls bounce as she runs, her laughter mingling with the song of an ibis perched nearby. The gardens are a paradise of color, crimson hibiscus, golden acacias, and the delicate blue of lotus blooms floating in alabaster pools. The scent of jasmine and sandalwood drifts through the air, wrapping you in a soft, fragrant embrace. Cleopatra's father, Ptolemy XII Auletes, known as the flute player for his love of music, rules a kingdom teetering on the edge of chaos. His court is a maze of intrigue, with advisors whispering of Rome's growing power and the Nile's unpredictable floods. Yet in these early years, Cleopatra's world is one of wonder, her curious eyes drinking in the sights and sounds of Alexandria. Her education begins early, as was custom for Ptolemaic princesses. Imagine her seated in a sunlit chamber of the Library of Alexandria, its shelves towering with scrolls of papyrus, their edges culling like waves. The library, a beacon of knowledge, holds the wisdom of Greece, Egypt, and beyond, texts on astronomy, poetry, mathematics, and the healing arts. Picture Cleopatra, barely 10, her small hands tracing the Greek letters of Homer's Iliad, her voice reciting verses with a melody that enchants her tutors. Historians tell us she was a prodigy, mastering 9 languages, including Egyptian, a rarity among her Greek-speaking dynasty. Feel the coolness of the marble floor beneath you as you sit beside her, the faint rustle of scrolls and the distant hum of the city lulling your mind. Her tutors, scholars from across the Mediterranean, marvel at her intellect, her questions as sharp as the reeds used to write her name. Some tales, woven through the centuries, whisper that Cleopatra's curiosity extended beyond the rational. Legends, perhaps born of awe or envy, suggest she studied the mysteries of alchemy in hidden chambers, seeking the secrets of eternal life or the philosopher's stone. Picture her by lamplight, her eyes reflecting the flicker of an oil lamp as she pores over ancient texts said to hold the wisdom of Thoth, the Egyptian god of knowledge. These stories, though unverified, paint her as a seeker of the divine, a princess whose ambition reached beyond the mortal world. Whether true or not, they add a shimmer of magic to her youth, like the glow of moonlight on the Nile. As you rest in this scene, let the soft rhythm of her studies soothe you, the scratch of a quill, the murmur of a tutor's voice, the gentle breeze through an open window. Your breath slows, your body sinking into the tranquil warmth of this ancient city. Cleopatra's childhood is not without shadows. The Ptolemaic court is a nest of vipers, with siblings and advisors vying for power. Her father's rule is fragile, propped up by bribes to Rome and plagued by uprisings in the Egyptian heartland. Picture young Cleopatra watching from a balcony as her father's musicians play, their flutes weaving haunting melodies, while below the people of Alexandria chant for bread. She learns early the art of persuasion, her voice, described by Plutarch as a lyre, capable of any tune, winning the hearts of courtiers even as a child. Some say she visited the temples of Isis, kneeling before the goddess's statue, her prayers mingling with the scent of myrrh. These tales, perhaps embellished, suggest a spiritual depth, a connection to Egypt's ancient gods that set her apart from her Greek ancestors. As you drift through this moment, imagine the Nile at dusk, its waters reflecting the fading light, a mirror of gold and indigo. The city hums softly, its energy fading into the quiet of night. Cleopatra, now a teenager, walks the palace halls, her footsteps echoing on marble, her mind a constellation of dreams, dreams of a kingdom strong and united, of a legacy that will outshine the stars. Let your thoughts soften, your worries melting into the warm, golden glow of Alexandria's twilight. The world is calm, the air is still, and you are carried gently toward rest, wrapped in the serenity of her youth. Let's drift forward to 51 BCE, where the Nile flows steady and slow, its banks lush with green reeds swaying in the breeze. The air is warm, carrying the scent of blooming papyrus and the faint tang of salt from the nearby sea. Alexandria sparkles under a midday sun, its palaces and temples aglow with the brilliance of a city at the crossroads of the world. Here, an 18-year-old Cleopatra ascends to the throne beside her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, as co-ruler, following the death of their father. Picture the throne room, its walls adorned with hieroglyphs of falcons and lotus flowers, the air thick with the smoke of burning incense, myrrh and frankincense culling like spirits toward the ceiling. Cleopatra stands tall, her emerald green robes shimmering, the double crown of Egypt resting lightly on her brow. Her eyes, sharp as obsidian, survey the gathered courtiers, their faces a mask of loyalty and deceit. Feel the weight of this moment, the tension in the air like a storm gathering over the desert. The Ptolemaic tradition demands that brother and sister rule as husband and wife, a sacred union to maintain the dynasty's divine lineage. Yet Cleopatra's ambition burns brighter than her brother's, her mind honed by years of study. Historians note her bold first acts. She mints coins bearing her image, a regal profile with a diadem, declaring her authority to the world. Unlike her predecessors, she embraces Egypt's native culture, speaking the language of the people and honoring their gods. Picture her visiting the temple of Amun in Thebes, her bare feet touching the cool stone as priests chant, their voices echoing like a lullaby. The scent of sacred oils fills the air, grounding you in the moment, your breath slowing as you imagine her resolve. The court, however, is a labyrinth of danger. Ptolemy XIII, only 10, is a puppet of advisors like Pothinus and Achilles, who resent Cleopatra's dominance. Imagine whispered plots in shadowed corridors, the glint of a dagger hidden in a sleeve, the murmur of discontent as famine grips the land. The Nile's floods have faltered, leaving fields parched and granaries empty. Cleopatra, with her scholar's mind, studies irrigation and trade, seeking to stabilize Egypt's wealth. She negotiates with nomarchs, the regional governors, her voice steady and persuasive, winning their loyalty where her brother falters. Some legends, perhaps spun by her enemies, claim she consulted oracles, her dreams guided by Isis, who granted her visions of victory. These tales, though unverified, add a mystic aura, like the shimmer of moonlight on a temple pool. Picture her standing on the palace balcony, the city sprawling below, its markets alive with the clatter of carts and the cries of fishmongers. The harbour glitters, filled with ships from Rome, Greece, and distant Punt. Cleopatra knows Rome's power looms, its senators eyeing Egypt's grain like hawks. She writes letters in her own hand, her script elegant on papyrus, forging ties with Roman allies. Historians record her as a master of diplomacy, her charm disarming even the sternest envoys. Some say her beauty was a spell, her eyes capable of ensnaring hearts, though Plutarch insists it was her intellect and voice that captivated. As you rest in this scene, imagine the soft clink of goblets at a banquet, the laughter of guests, the distant strum of a lyre. Your body relaxes, the weight of the day dissolving into the warm, golden light of her court. By 49 BCE, tensions with Ptolemy's faction erupt. Cleopatra is forced to flee Alexandria, her loyal guards at her side, their sandals kicking up dust as they ride into the Syrian desert. Picture her in a tent under a starlit sky, the air cool and sharp, her breath visible as she plans her return. She gathers allies among Bedouin tribes, her words weaving trust like threads of silk. Some tales whisper she carried a vial of poison, a safeguard against capture, though such stories are likely Roman propaganda. Her courage, however, is undeniable. She raises an army, her banners fluttering in the desert wind, and prepares to reclaim her throne. As you listen, let the rhythm of hoofbeats fade, the desert's silence enveloping you. Your thoughts soften, your mind drifting like a leaf on the Nile, carried toward a peaceful calm. Drift now to 48 BCE, where the warm desert winds of Syria carry the scent of dust and cedar, mingling with the faint tang of campfires. Picture Cleopatra, just 21, standing in a linen tent, its walls fluttering softly under a starlit sky. Her dark eyes gleam with resolve, her emerald green cloak catching the flicker of an oil lamp. Exiled from Alexandria by her brother Ptolemy XIII's treacherous advisors, she gathers a small army among the Bedouin tribes, her voice weaving alliances as effortlessly as a weaver threads silk. The Nile, far to the west, flows steady and eternal, its waters a distant memory of her throne. Yet Cleopatra's heart beats with the rhythm of Egypt, her dreams as vast as the desert sands. Feel the coolness of the night air on your skin, the soft rustle of canvas, as you rest beside her, your breath slowing, your thoughts drifting like a leaf on the wind. News reaches her camp. Julius Caesar, Rome's mightiest general, has arrived in Alexandria, chasing his rival Pompey and seeking to settle Egypt's civil war. Picture Cleopatra pacing the tent, her sandals whispering on the woven rugs, as she seizes this moment of destiny. Caesar, a man of 52, holds the power to restore her crown, but the palace swarms with her brother's gods. In a stroke of daring, she devises a plan, bold, theatrical, and worthy of her legend. Imagine her trusted servant Apollodorus, his face lined with loyalty, rolling her into a carpet, some say a linen sack, its fibers soft against her skin. The stars burn bright above as they slip through Alexandria's shadowed streets, the air thick with the scent of sea salt and baking bread. Feel the tension of this journey, yet let it fade, your body sinking into the tranquil rhythm of their silent steps. They reach the palace, where Caesar resides in a grand chamber overlooking the harbor. Picture the scene. Torchlight dances on marble walls, casting golden flickers across mosaics of gods and pharaohs. The carpet is unrolled, and Cleopatra emerges, her poise unbroken, her eyes locking with Caesar's. Her voice described by Plutarch as a lyre capable of any tune, flows like honey, weaving tales of Egypt's glory and her rightful claim. Caesar, hardened by battles and politics, is captivated not by beauty alone, though legends whisper of her divine allure, but by her intellect and audacity. Some tales, perhaps spun by poets, claim her presence was a spell, her gaze infused with the magic of Isis. These stories, though unverified, shimmer like moonlight on the Nile, adding mystery to her charm. As you listen, imagine the soft clink of goblets, the distant lapping of waves, and let your mind drift, your worries melting into the warm, golden glow of this encounter. Their alliance is forged, sealed by strategy and, soon, by love. Picture them in the palace's great hall, its columns carved with lotus blossoms, the air heavy with myrrh and the murmur of courtiers. Cleopatra, draped in silks of Tyrian purple, negotiates with Caesar, her words sharp yet soothing, securing his support against her brother. Historians note her mastery of rhetoric, honed in the library of Alexandria, as she promises Egypt's grain to feed Rome's legions. The Alexandrian War erupts, a storm of fire and steel, as Caesar's forces clash with Ptolemy's in the city's streets. Imagine the chaos, ships burning in the harbor, their flames reflecting on the water, the cries of soldiers mingling with the wail of flutes from a distant temple. Cleopatra, safe in the palace, directs her loyalists, her mind a map of alliances and betrayals. Some say she climbed the lighthouse to watch the battle, her cloak billowing in the sea breeze, though such tales are likely embellishments. The war shifts when Ptolemy's forces falter, and the young king drowns in the Nile, his golden armor sinking into the silt. Picture the river at dawn, its waters calm and golden, as Cleopatra mourns briefly, her heart torn between duty and kinship. With Caesar's victory, she is restored as sole ruler, her younger brother Ptolemy XIV as nominal co-king. Imagine her standing on the palace balcony, the city below rebuilding, its markets humming with life. The scent of fresh papyrus and roasted dates fills the air, grounding you in this moment of triumph. Your breath deepens, your body relaxing into the soft, serene flow of her reign. Cleopatra and Caesar's bond deepens, their nights spent on a grand barge gliding along the Nile. Picture this vessel, its golden prow shaped like a falcon, its purple sails catching the moonlight. Musicians play harps and flutes, their melodies floating across the water, while servants offer platters of figs, honeyed cakes, and wine as dark as the night sky. The river reflects the stars, a mirror of eternity, as Cleopatra shares Egypt's secrets, its temples, its wealth, its gods. Caesar, entranced, speaks of Rome's marble forums and distant conquests. Some legends whisper of a banquet where Cleopatra dissolved a priceless pearl in vinegar, drinking it to prove her wealth, a tale Plutarch records, but scholars debate. Whether true or not, it paints her as a queen of spectacle, her every gesture a story. As you rest in this scene, feel the gentle rocking of the barge, the coolness of the river breeze, and let your thoughts soften, carried toward a peaceful calm. In 47 BC, their son, Ptolemy Caesar, known as Caesarion, is born. Picture Cleopatra in a sunlit chamber, cradling the infant, his tiny hands grasping at her golden amulet. The scent of lotus oil lingers, mingling with the coos of nursemaids. Caesarean, meaning Little Caesar, is her dream of unity, a bridge between Egypt and Rome. Historians confirm his birth, though Rome's senators deny his paternity, wary of Caesar's ambitions. Cleopatra declares him co-ruler, her eyes fixed on a future where he reigns as pharaoh and Roman heir. Some tales, perhaps fanciful, claim she consulted priests of Amun, their prophecies foretelling Caesarian's greatness. These stories, unverified, add a mystic glow, like the dawn light on temple walls. Cleopatra joined Caesar in Rome in 46 BC, residing in his villa across the Tiber. Picture her in a garden of cypress trees and roses, the air cool with the scent of dew, as Roman nobles gawk at her exotic retinue, Egyptian scribes, Nubian guards, and leopards on golden leashes. She attends Caesar's triumphs, her silks shimmering among togas, her presence a whisper of Egypt's power. Historians note her influence, as Caesar erects a statue of Venus modeled on her, blending Roman and Egyptian divine imagery. Yet Rome's elite resent her, calling her a seductress, their words laced with fear of her intellect. Some myths suggest she studied Rome's auguries, her curiosity boundless, though such tales are likely embellishments. As you listen, imagine the soft rustle of leaves, the distant hum of the forum, and let your body sink, wrapped in the tranquil warmth of her presence. Caesar's assassination in 44 BC shatters their world. Picture Cleopatra in the villa, the air heavy with panic, as news of the Ides of March reaches her. She flees Rome with Caesarion, her ship cutting through the Mediterranean's waves, the scent of salt and fear in the air. Back in Alexandria, she mourns, her heart a storm, yet her resolve unbroken. The Nile flows on, eternal and serene, carrying her toward new horizons. As you rest in this moment, imagine the stars above the sea, each one a story, each one a dream. Let your breath slow, your mind drifting like a sail on the wind, carried toward sleep. Drift now to 46 BC, where the Mediterranean Sea stretches like a sapphire ribbon under a golden sun, its waves whispering secrets as they lap against the hull of a grand Egyptian ship. Picture Cleopatra, now 25, standing at the prow, her emerald green robes billowing in the salty breeze, her dark eyes fixed on the horizon where Rome awaits. Beside her, her infant son, Caesarion, sleeps in the arms of a nursemaid, his tiny form wrapped in linen as soft as a desert dawn. The scent of cedar from the ship's timbers mingles with the tang of sea spray, grounding you in this moment of journey. Cleopatra sails to Rome at the invitation of Julius Caesar, her ally and lover, to cement their bond and secure Egypt's place in Rome's vast empire. Feel the gentle sway of the ship, the rhythm of the oars dipping into the water, and let your breath slow, your thoughts drifting like a sail on the wind. Rome appears as a city of marble and ambition, its 7 hills crowned with temples and forums, their columns gleaming under the midday sun. Picture Cleopatra's arrival, her ship docking at Ostia, where the Tiber River flows, its waters a murky mirror of the city's bustle. She is escorted to Caesar's villa across the Tiber, a sprawling estate of cypress groves and rose gardens, where the air carries the scent of dew and blooming lavender. Imagine the villa's courtyard, its mosaic floors depicting nymphs and gods, the soft trickle of a fountain blending with the hum of cicadas. Cleopatra, draped in silks of Tyrian purple, steps onto Roman soil, her retinue a spectacle, Egyptian scribes with papyrus scrolls, Nubian guards in leopard skin cloaks, and servants bearing gilded cages of exotic birds. Some legends, perhaps woven by Rome's gossips, whisper of leopards on golden leashes, their eyes glinting like emeralds, though such tales may be embellishments meant to paint her as a queen of decadence. As you rest in this scene, let the warmth of the Roman sun envelop you, your body sinking into the tranquil embrace of the villa's gardens. Cleopatra's presence in Rome is a marvel and a scandal. Picture her at a banquet in Caesar's villa, reclining on a cushioned couch, the air heavy with the aroma of roasted peacock, honeyed figs, and wine poured from silver amphorae. The room glows with oil lamps, their flames casting golden flickers across her diadem, a symbol of her royal blood. Roman senators and matrons watch her, their whispers sharp with curiosity and envy. Historians, like Cassius Dio, note her charm. Her voice, melodic and precise, weaves tales of Egypt's wealth and wisdom, captivating even the sternest patricians. She speaks Latin with ease, her words a bridge between worlds, as she negotiates Egypt's grain shipments to feed Rome's masses. Some tales, likely spun by her detractors, claim her beauty was a spell, her eyes imbued with the allure of Venus, though Plutarch insists it was her intellect that held sway. These myths, unverified, shimmer like the Tiber's reflections, adding a layer of mystery to her presence. Feel the soft clink of goblets, the murmur of voices, and let your thoughts soften, your worries melting into the warm, golden glow of the banquet hall. Caesar honors Cleopatra with a statue in the temple of Venus Genetrix, its features echoing her own, a bold blending of Roman and Egyptian divinity. Picture the temple, its marble steps cool underfoot, the air thick with the scent of burning myrrh offered to the goddess. Cleopatra attends Caesar's triumphs, grand parades celebrating his conquests, where chariots rumble through the forum and crowds roar like the sea. Imagine her seated in a shaded balcony, her silks shimmering among the white togas, her eyes scanning the faces of Cicero, Brutus, and other senators who resent her influence. Historians record their disdain, calling her Caesar's mistress, or worse, their words laced with fear of her power. Some Romans whisper of her exotic rituals, claiming she brought priests of Isis to perform rites under the moon, their chants echoing through the villa's gardens. These stories, perhaps propaganda, paint her as a sorceress, though her true magic lay in diplomacy. As you listen, imagine the distant cheer of the crowd, the rustle of leaves in the evening breeze, and let your body relax, carried by the rhythm of Rome's pulse. Cleopatra's life in Rome is not all splendor. Picture her walking the villa's gardens at dawn, the air cool with mist, as she cradles Caesarion, his laughter a melody against the song of sparrows. She teaches him Egyptian tales of Ra and Osiris, her voice soft as the petals falling around them. Yet, the city buzzes with tension. Caesar's reforms, his growing power, and his bond with Cleopatra stir unrest. Imagine her in a quiet chamber, poring over scrolls with her scribes, her quill scratching plans to strengthen Egypt's trade with Rome's provinces. She meets with envoys from Judea and Syria, her diplomacy weaving a web of alliances, her mind as sharp as the stylus in her hand. Some legends suggest she studied Rome's auguries, reading omens in the flight of birds, though such tales are likely the fancy of poets. As you rest in this moment, feel the softness of the grass beneath your feet, the gentle hum of the city fading, and let your breath deepen, your mind drifting like a cloud over the Tiber. The undercurrents of Rome's politics grow darker. Picture Cleopatra in the villa's atrium, the air heavy with the scent of rain, as whispers of conspiracy reach her. Caesar's enemies plot, their daggers hidden in the folds of their togas. She senses the storm, but cannot sway him from his path. On the Ides of March, 44 BCE, the blow falls. Caesar is struck down in the Senate, his blood staining the marble floor. Imagine Cleopatra in her chamber, the news delivered by a trembling messenger, her heart a tempest of grief and fear. She gathers Caesarion and her retinue, her resolve as steady as the Nile's flow, and prepares to flee. Picture her ship slipping out of Ostia at dusk, the sea a mirror of twilight, the scent of salt and cedar in the air. Rome fades behind her, its hills swallowed by the horizon, as she sails back to Alexandria, her son in her arms, her future uncertain but unbroken. Some tales whisper she carried a vial of poison, a safeguard against capture, though such stories may be Roman slander. As you listen, imagine the gentle rocking of the ship, the stars above the sea twinkling softly, and let your body sink, wrapped in the tranquil warmth of her courage. Back in Alexandria, Cleopatra mourns, her heart heavy yet resolute. Picture her on the palace balcony, the Nile below reflecting the first light of dawn, its waters a promise of renewal. She declares Caesarion co-ruler, her eyes fixed on a future where Egypt endures. The city hums with life, merchants bartering, priests chanting, the scent of lotus and incense in the air. As you rest in this scene, let the rhythm of the Nile lull you, its ripples a gentle caress. Your thoughts soften, your mind drifting like a lotus bloom on the water, carried toward a peaceful calm. Drift now to 41 BC, where the Cydnus River flows gently through the city of Tarsus, its waters shimmering like liquid amber under a golden midday sun. Picture Cleopatra, now 28, standing aboard a magnificent barge, its golden prow carved in the shape of a swan, its purple sails billowing softly in the warm breeze. The air is alive with the scent of roses and jasmine, scattered across the deck in fragrant heaps, and the delicate notes of harps and flutes float over the water, weaving a melody as enchanting as a siren's song. She sails to meet Mark Antony, Rome's charismatic triumvir, summoned to answer for her support of Caesar's enemies. Yet Cleopatra, ever the strategist, transforms this summons into a stage for her brilliance. Feel the gentle sway of the barge, the cool mist of the river on your skin, and let your breath slow, your thoughts drifting like petals on the current. The barge is a vision of splendor, its oars dipping silently into the water, manned by rowers dressed in silver-threaded tunics. Picture Cleopatra reclining on a cushioned throne beneath a canopy of silk, her robes of Tyrian purple shimmering with threads of gold, a diadem of pearls crowning her dark curls. Her eyes, sharp with intellect, survey the horizon, where Tarsus's whitewashed walls gleam against the lush green hills. Servants fan her with ostrich plumes, their rhythmic motion blending with the lapping waves, while others offer goblets of wine and platters of honeyed dates. Historians like Plutarch describe this entrance as a spectacle that captivated Antony before he even saw her face, her presence a symphony of power and allure. Some legends, perhaps woven by her rivals, whisper that she anointed herself with potions crafted by Egyptian priests, their essence said to bind hearts, though such tales are likely the stuff of myth. As you rest in this scene, imagine the soft glow of lanterns on the barge, their light dancing on the water, and let your body relax, your worries melting into the warm, golden embrace of the river. Mark Antony awaits in Tarsus's marketplace, a warrior of 42, his broad shoulders draped in a scarlet cloak, his eyes weathered by battles yet alight with curiosity. Picture the crowd parting as Cleopatra's barge docks, the air buzzing with gasps and murmurs from merchants, soldiers, and onlookers. She steps ashore, her movements graceful as a dancer's, her voice melodic and commanding, greeting Antony with words that blend deference and defiance. Plutarch tells us Antony was spellbound, inviting her to a banquet, only for Cleopatra to counter with an invitation to dine on her barge. Imagine the feast that follows, the deck aglow with torchlight, the tables laden with roasted pheasant, pomegranates, and cakes drizzled with honey. The scent of myrrh curls through the air, mingling with the laughter of guests and the distant hum of the city. Cleopatra's wit sparkles like the stars above, her stories of Egypt's gods and grain weaving a bond with Antony. Some tales, unverified, claim she slipped a charm into his wine, a potion to kindle love, though her true power lay in her intellect and charisma. Feel the warmth of the night, the gentle rocking of the barge, and let your thoughts soften, carried by the rhythm of their meeting. Their alliance blooms into a love that defies Rome's stern gaze. Picture them in Alexandria, where Cleopatra welcomes Antony to her palace, its marble halls echoing with the chants of priests and the clink of goblets at lavish banquets. The air is heavy with the scent of lotus oil and burning incense, the walls adorned with tapestries of Horus and Isis. They form the inimitable Livers, a society dedicated to feasting and revelry, hosting nights of poetry, dance, and laughter. Imagine Cleopatra and Antony disguised as commoners, wandering Alexandria's moonlit streets, their footsteps muffled on the sandy paths, the scent of grilled fish and baking bread drifting from the markets. Historians note their partnership was as political as it was passionate. Cleopatra secures territories like Cyprus, Crete, and parts of Syria, strengthening Egypt's wealth, while Antony gains her grain and ships for his campaigns. Some myths whisper of her divine connection to Venus, her beauty a gift from the goddess. Those scholars argue her allure was her mind, sharpened by years in the library of Alexandria. As you listen, imagine the soft strum of a lyre, the distant call of a night bird, and let your body sink, wrapped in the tranquil glow of their love. In 40 BC, Cleopatra bears twins, Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, named for the sun and moon, a testament to their parents' dreams of an empire uniting East and West. Picture her in a sunlit chamber, the air fragrant with lavender and milk, as she cradles her children, their tiny hands grasping at her golden amulets. The Nile flows beyond the palace, its waters a mirror of eternity, reflecting the golden dawn. 2 years later, a third child, Ptolemy Philadelphus, is born, his name echoing the grandeur of her dynasty. Imagine Cleopatra teaching them tales of Osiris and Isis, her voice a lullaby that soothes even the restless. Some legends, perhaps spun by poets, claim she bathed in milk and honey to preserve her youth, a ritual said to glow with divine favor, though such stories are likely embellishments. Historians confirm her devotion to her children, raising them as heirs to both Egypt and Rome's legacy. Feel the softness of the linen cradle, the gentle coos of the infants, and let your breath deepen, your mind drifting like a lotus bloom on the Nile. The pinnacle of their partnership comes in 34 BCE with the donations of Alexandria, a grand ceremony that shakes the Mediterranean world. Picture the city's great gymnasium, its marble columns draped with garlands of laurel and lotus, the air thick with the scent of frankincense, and the cheers of thousands. Cleopatra, robed in gold, sits beside Antony, their children at their side, as he declares them rulers of vast territories, Alexander Helios over Armenia and Parthia, Cleopatra Selene over Cyrenaica, and Ptolemy Philadelphus over Phoenicia. Caesarion, her son by Caesar, is named King of Kings, co-ruler of Egypt. The crowd roars, their voices a wave of adoration, while Cleopatra's eyes gleam with a vision of a united empire. Rome, however, seethes. Octavian, Antony's rival, spins tales of betrayal, calling Cleopatra a seductress who has ensnared a Roman hero. Some myths, likely Roman propaganda, whisper of her alchemical arts, claiming she brewed elixirs to bind Antony's soul, though her true influence was her strategic genius. As you rest in this moment, Imagine the golden light of the ceremony, the soft rustle of silk, and let your thoughts soften, carried toward a peaceful calm. Yet, shadows loom. Picture Cleopatra and Antony in a quiet moment, reclining on a terrace overlooking the Nile, the air cool with the scent of damp reeds and blooming acacias. They speak of Rome's growing hostility, Octavian's propaganda painting them as threats to the Republic. Cleopatra's mind, sharp as ever, plans for Egypt's future, her scribes drafting letters to allies in Judea and Nabatea. Antony, his laughter warm, promises her the world, but the weight of Rome's disapproval presses like a storm cloud. Imagine the stars above Alexandria, their light soft and eternal, as Cleopatra leans against him, her heart a blend of love and resolve. Some tales suggest she consulted oracles, their visions foretelling a clash with Rome, though such stories are likely the fancy of later chroniclers. As you listen, feel the gentle breeze, the distant hum of the city, and let your body sink, wrapped in the serene embrace of their fleeting peace. Drift now to 31 BCE, where the Ionian Sea churns off the coast of Actium, its waves a restless dance of silver and foam under a sky heavy with storm clouds. Picture Cleopatra, now 38, standing aboard her flagship, the Antonis, its golden prow slicing through the water, its purple sails taut against the gusting wind. The air is sharp with a tang of salt and the faint scent of cedar from the ship's timbers, mingling with the nervous murmurs of her crew. Beside her, Mark Antony commands their combined fleet, Egyptian galleys and Roman warships, their oars beating the sea like the pulse of a great heart. They face Octavian, Antony's rival, whose sleek vessels form a crescent across the horizon, their bronze rams glinting like daggers. Feel the cool mist of sea spray on your skin, the rhythmic creak of the ship, and let your breath slow, your thoughts drifting like a gull on the wind. The battle is a storm of chaos and ambition, the culmination of years of rivalry between Antony and Octavian for Rome's soul. Picture the sea alive with movement, ships colliding, their timbers splintering, the shouts of sailors blending with the crash of waves and the screech of gulls overhead. Cleopatra's Antonis, a quinquereme with 5 banks of oars, towers over smaller vessels, its deck adorned with gilded statues of Isis and Horus. Her eyes, sharp as obsidian, scan the fray, her mind calculating every maneuver. Historians, like Plutarch, describe her fleet as vital to Antony's strategy, her ships laden with Egypt's wealth, gold, grain, and treasures to fund their campaign. Yet Octavian's admiral, Agrippa, outmaneuvers them, his lighter ships darting like wolves among prey. Some legends, spun by Roman propagandists, claim Cleopatra foresaw defeat in a dream sent by Isis, her heart guided by divine whispers, though such tales are likely embellishments to vilify her. As you rest in this scene, imagine the rolling motion of the sea, the distant clash of bronze, and let your body relax, your worries melting into the vast, silvery expanse of the waves. As the battle turns, Cleopatra makes a fateful decision. Picture her raising a signal, a crimson banner fluttering high, as the Antonis and 60 Egyptian ships break from the fray, their sails catching a sudden gust. The sea churns beneath them, foam culling like lace, as they sail south toward safety. Antony, seeing her depart, follows in a smaller vessel, his heart torn between duty and love. Historians debate her motives. Some, like Cassius Dio, call it a calculated retreat to preserve her fleet and Egypt's future. Others, echoing Octavian's propaganda, accuse her of cowardice, abandoning Antony to save herself. Modern scholars suggest she aimed to protect Caesarion and her children, her ships carrying the wealth needed to rebuild. Some myths, perhaps born of Rome's scorn, whisper that she cast a spell over the winds, her prayers to Isis summoning the breeze, though such stories are likely the fancy of her enemies. Feel the wind's cool embrace, the soft creak of the sails, and let your thoughts soften, carried by the rhythm of the sea toward a tranquil calm. The retreat marks a turning point, their defeat a wound that bleeds hope. Picture Cleopatra and Antony reunited in Alexandria, their ships docking in the great harbor under a sky of fading gold. The city hums with life, merchants bartering in the markets, priests chanting in the temples of Serapis, the air fragrant with lotus and burning myrrh. Yet, tension lingers like a shadow. Imagine them in the palace's great hall, its marble columns draped with silk, the scent of roasted lamb and honeyed wine filling the air. Cleopatra, robed in deep blue, her diadem glinting, sits beside Antony, their hands clasped as they plan their next move. They host lavish banquets, defying their loss with laughter and music, as if time could be persuaded by revelry. Historians note their resilience. Cleopatra negotiates with Eastern allies, her scribes drafting letters to Judea and Nabatea, while Antony rallies his remaining legions. Some tales, unverified, claim she consulted oracles in the temple of Amun, their visions foretelling a final stand, though such stories may be later inventions. As you listen, imagine the soft clink of goblets, the distant strum of a lyre, and let your body sink, wrapped in the warm golden glow of their defiance. In quieter moments, picture Cleopatra and Antony on a palace terrace, overlooking the Nile at dusk, its waters reflecting the first stars like scattered pearls. The air is cool, carrying the scent of damp reeds and blooming acacias. They speak of their children, Caesarion, now 16, and the twins, Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, with young Ptolemy Philadelphus, dreaming of their safety in a world shifting under Rome's weight. Cleopatra's voice, soft as a lullaby, recounts tales of Egypt's gods, her words a shield against despair. Antony, his laughter weathered but warm, vows to fight on, his love for her flame that burns bright. Some legends whisper that she brewed elixirs in secret chambers, their essence meant to fortify their spirits, though her true strength was her unyielding resolve. Feel the gentle breeze, the faint ripple of the river, and let your breath deepen, your mind drifting like a lotus bloom on the Nile. The aftermath of Actium casts a long shadow. Picture Cleopatra in her private chambers, surrounded by scrolls and maps, her quill-scratching plans to defend Egypt. The scent of papyrus and ink fills the air, mingling with the murmur of her advisors. She fortifies Alexandria's walls, stockpiles grain, and sends envoys to negotiate with Octavian, her diplomacy as sharp as ever. Antony, meanwhile, trains his troops in the desert, his armor glinting under the relentless sun. Historians record their efforts to rally, though Rome's propaganda paints them as decadent, lost in feasts while their empire crumbles. Some myths suggest Cleopatra sought the wisdom of ancient texts, hoping to uncover a secret to turn the tide, though such tales are likely poetic exaggerations. As you rest in this moment, imagine the soft glow of oil lamps, the distant hum of the city, and let your thoughts soften, carried toward a peaceful calm. Their days in Alexandria are numbered, yet their spirit endures. Picture a final banquet, the hall aglow with torchlight, dancers swirling to the beat of drums, their shadows flickering on the walls. Cleopatra, her eyes bright with resolve, toasts to their love and Egypt's eternity, her voice a melody that quiets the fear in the room. Antony, his hand on hers, laughs as if the world could still be theirs. The Nile flows beyond its waters eternal, reflecting the stars above. As you listen, feel the warmth of the torchlight, the gentle rhythm of the music, and let your body sink, wrap in the serene embrace of their fleeting defiance. Drift now to the summer of 30 BCE, where Alexandria shimmers under a relentless sun, its marble palaces reflecting the light like polished ivory. The Nile flows steady and slow, its waters a mirror of eternity, fringed with green reeds that sway in the warm breeze. Picture Cleopatra, now 39, standing on the balcony of her palace, her emerald green robes catching the faint mist of the harbor below. The air carries the scent of salt and blooming acacias, mingling with the distant chants of priests in the temple of Serapis. Octavian's army, victorious after Actium, marches closer, its shadow looming like a storm over Egypt's heart. Yet Cleopatra's eyes, sharp as obsidian, burn with resolve, her spirit unbroken. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, the soft hum of the city, and let your breath slow, your thoughts drifting like a lotus bloom on the Nile. The city pulses with a defiant vibrancy, as if refusing to bow to fate. Picture the markets bustling with merchants hawking silks and spices, their voices blending with the clatter of carts and the laughter of children. Cleopatra, with Mark Antony by her side, hosts grand banquets in the palace's great hall, its columns draped with garlands of lotus and laurel. Imagine the hall aglow with torchlight, the air heavy with the aroma of roasted lamb, honeyed figs, and wine poured from silver amphorae. Dancers swirl to the beat of drums, their shadows flickering on walls adorned with hieroglyphs of Horus and Isis. Cleopatra, her diadem glinting, raises a goblet, her voice a melody that quiets the room, toasting to Egypt's eternity and their unyielding love. Antony, his laughter warm but weary, clasps her hand, their bond a flame that burns against the gathering dark. Some legends, perhaps spun by poets, whisper that she brewed elixirs to fortify their spirits, their essence drawn from ancient herbs, though such tales are likely embellishments. As you rest in this scene, feel the soft clink of goblets, the gentle rhythm of the music, and let your body relax, your worries melting into the warm, golden glow of the banquet. Yet beneath the revelry, Cleopatra prepares for the end. Picture her in a quiet chamber, surrounded by scrolls and maps, the scent of papyrus and ink filling the air. Her quill scratches plans to defend Alexandria, her mind as sharp as the stylus in her hand. She fortifies the city's walls, stockpiles grain in hidden vaults, and sends envoys to negotiate with Octavian, offering treasures for her children's safety. Historians, like Plutarch, note her tireless diplomacy, her letters to Octavian blending defiance and pragmatism. She ensures Caesarion, now 17, is sent to safety in the south, perhaps toward Nubia, his guards bearing her seal. Imagine her embracing him, her voice soft as she whispers tales of Ra to calm his fears, the scent of lotus oil lingering on her robes. Some myths, unverified, claim she consulted priests of Amun, their oracles foretelling her fate, though her true strength lay in her resolve. Feel the coolness of the marble floor, the faint rustle of scrolls, and let your thoughts soften, carried by the rhythm of her courage. As Octavian's forces breach Alexandria, Cleopatra retreats to her mausoleum, a fortress of white stone near the palace, its walls adorned with alabaster and gold. Picture her entering this sanctuary, the air cool and heavy with the scent of myrrh and cedar from chests filled with treasures, golden amulets, pearl necklaces, and scrolls of her own writing. Her loyal servants, Iras and Charmian, stand by her side, their faces etched with devotion. The mausoleum's windows frame the Nile, its waters reflecting a sky of fading indigo, where stars begin to twinkle like scattered jewels. Cleopatra, robed in gold, prepares her final act, her heart steady as the rivers flow. She sends a message to Antony, who, believing her dead, falls on his sword in despair. Imagine the moment he is brought to her, wounded but alive, hoisted through the mausoleum's window. Their farewell is tender, her voice a lullaby as she holds him, the scent of blood and roses in the air. Historians confirm Antony's death in her arms, a moment of love amid defeat. As you listen, feel the soft flicker of lamplight, the distant lapping of the Nile, and let your body sink, wrapped in the tranquil embrace of their bond. Cleopatra's own end follows, shrouded in legend. Picture her reclining on a golden couch, her robes arranged with regal grace, a basket of figs at her side. The tale, recorded by Plutarch, tells of an asp, its venom a swift and royal death, a symbol of divine protection in Egyptian lore. Imagine the serpent, its scales glinting like bronze, as it delivers its bite, her breath slowing as the world fades. Yet, some historians, like Strabo, suggest poison, perhaps hidden in a hairpin or vial, a quieter exit chosen with precision. Others whisper of a blade, its edge concealed in her robes, though such tales are speculative, woven by time. Some myths, perhaps born over war, claim she invoked Isis, her spirit merging with the goddess, though these stories are likely poetic fancy. Whatever the truth, her death is her own, a final act of sovereignty. Feel the coolness of the stone walls, the faint scent of figs, and let your breath deepen, your mind drifting like a leaf on the river. The mausoleum seals her legacy, its treasures a testament to Egypt's glory. Picture Octavian entering, his sandals echoing on the marble, finding Cleopatra serene, her diadem untouched by defeat. Iras and Charmian, loyal to the end, lie beside her, their devotion eternal. Some legends, unverified, whisper of a hidden tomb, its entrance lost in the sands, where Cleopatra and Antony rest with treasures unseen, guarded by the gods. Scholars speculate her tomb lies near Alexandria, perhaps submerged beneath the harbor's waves, a mystery that lingers like a dream. As you rest in this moment, imagine the stars above the mausoleum, their light soft and eternal, each one a story, each one a dream. Let your thoughts soften, your body sinking into the warm, golden sands of time, carried toward a peaceful calm. Cleopatra's children face uncertain fates. Picture Caesarion, fleeing south, only to be betrayed and lost to Octavian's wrath. The twins Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, with young Ptolemy Philadelphus, are taken to Rome, their footsteps echoing on foreign stone. Cleopatra Selene, her mother's daughter, survives to rule Mauritania, her legacy a whisper of Egypt's spirit. Imagine the Nile flowing on, its waters eternal, reflecting Alexandria's fading glory. As you listen, feel the gentle ripple of the river, the soft hum of the city, and let your body sink, wrapped in the serene embrace of her enduring will. Drift now to the quiet aftermath of 30 BCE, where Alexandria's golden light fades into the twilight of an era. The Nile flows on, its waters a serene mirror, reflecting a sky of deep indigo, where stars gleam like scattered pearls. Picture the city, its marble palaces still standing, though their halls echo with the silence of a lost queen. Cleopatra's death in her mausoleum marks the end of Egypt's independence, as Octavian, soon to be Augustus, claims the land for Rome. Yet her legacy endures, like the eternal rhythm of the river, carried through time by her children, her enemies' words, and the myths that bloom like desert flowers after rain. Feel the coolness of the evening breeze, the faint scent of lotus and myrrh, and let your breath slow, your thoughts drifting like a leaf on the Nile. begin with her children, the bearers of her dreams. Picture Caesarion, her son by Julius Caesar, now 17, fleeing south toward Nubia, his guards bearing Cleopatra's seal. The desert sands stretch endlessly before him, the air sharp with the scent of dust and acacias. Yet Octavian's reach is long. Caesarion is betrayed, captured, and lost to Rome's wrath, his fate a shadow in the historical record. Historians, like Suetonius, confirm his execution, a tragic end for the boy named King of Kings. Imagine Cleopatra's twins, Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, and their younger brother, Ptolemy Philadelphus, taken to Rome as captives. Picture them walking through the forum, their small figures draped in silks, their footsteps echoing on marble under the gaze of Roman crowds. The air carries the scent of burning incense from Jupiter's temple, mingling with the murmurs of awe and pity. Cleopatra Selene, only 10, carries her mother's spirit, her eyes sharp with resolve. Feel the warmth of the Roman sun, the distant hum of the city, and let your body relax, your worries melting into the golden glow of their journey. Cleopatra Selene's story blooms where others fade. Picture her in Mauritania, a North African kingdom granted by Octavian, where she rules alongside her husband, Juba II. The air is fragrant with olive groves and sea salt, the markets alive with the clatter of carts and the chatter of Berber traders. Selene honors her mother's legacy, minting coins with Egyptian symbols, crocodiles, lotus flowers, and the crescent moon of her name. Historians note her patronage of scholars and artists, her court a blend of Greek, Roman, and Egyptian cultures, echoing Alexandria's lost splendor. Imagine her standing on a balcony overlooking the sea, her robes catching the breeze, her thoughts drifting to the Nile. Her brothers, Alexander Helios and Ptolemy Philadelphus, vanish from history, their fates uncertain, perhaps lost to Rome's prisons or distant lands. Some myths, unverified, whisper that Selene hid treasures from Cleopatra's mausoleum, preserving them in secret vaults, though such tales are likely poetic dreams. As you rest in this scene, feel the soft rustle of palm fronds, the gentle lapping of waves, and let your thoughts soften, carried toward a tranquil calm. Cleopatra's image, however, is reshaped by Rome's hand. Picture Octavian in his marble palace, his scribes crafting tales that paint Cleopatra as a seductress, a sorceress who ensnared Caesar and Antony. The air is cool with the scent of parchment and ink, the forum buzzing with gossip. Historians like Plutarch and Cassius Dio, writing decades later, blend truth with propaganda. Her intellect and charisma become a dangerous allure, her ambition a threat to Rome's virtue. Imagine Roman poets reciting verses in torchlit halls, their words weaving Cleopatra as Venus incarnate, her beauty a spell that toppled heroes. Some legends, perhaps born of fear, claim she wielded dark arts, brewing potions in Alexandria's hidden chambers, though scholars argue her power lay in her mind, honed by years in the library. These myths, unverified, shimmer like moonlight on the Tiber, shaping her into a figure of fascination and dread. Feel the flicker of lamplight, the distant murmur of voices, and let your body sink, wrapped in the serene embrace of her evolving story. Drift forward to the Middle Ages, where Cleopatra's legend grows in candlelit scriptoria. Picture monks in stone monasteries, their quills scratching on vellum, as they weave her into tales of exotic queens and forbidden love. The air carries the scent of wax and dust, the silence broken by the chant of vespers. In works like Boccaccio's De Mulieribus Claris, Cleopatra is both admired and judged, her wit celebrated, but her passion condemned. Imagine troubadours in European courts, their lutes strumming as they sing of her barge on the Cydnus, its purple sails a symbol of decadence. Some tales, fanciful and unverified, claim she mastered alchemy, seeking immortality in Egypt's sands, her tomb a vault of secrets guarded by spirits. These stories, woven by imagination, add a mystic glow to her name. As you listen, feel the softness of the vellum, the gentle hum of the monastery, and let your breath deepen, your mind drifting like a candle's flame. In the Renaissance, Cleopatra's story finds new life. Picture William Shakespeare in a dimly lit room, the air thick with the scent of ink and wood smoke, as he pens Antony and Cleopatra. His words cast her as a queen of infinite variety, her charm a force that bends empires. Imagine actors on a London stage, their voices echoing in the Globe Theatre, the audience entranced by her tragic love. The Thames flows beyond, its waters reflecting torchlight, much like the Nile in her time. Shakespeare's Cleopatra is both regal and human, a death by asp a poetic flourish that cements her legend. Some myths, born in this era, whisper of her tomb hidden beneath Alexandria's waves, its entrance sealed by divine will, though archaeologists still search, their findings lost to time. Feel the creak of the wooden stage, the distant ripple of the river, and let your thoughts soften, carried toward a peaceful calm. In modern times, Cleopatra's image sparkles on silver screens. Picture Hollywood studios, their sets aglow with golden replicas of Alexandria's palaces, the air heavy with the scent of paint and sawdust. Elizabeth Taylor's portrayal in 1963's Cleopatra casts her as a glamorous icon, her eyes lined with kohl, her voice a melody of power and passion. Imagine audiences in darkened theatres, their breaths held as she sails to Tarsus or faces her end, the Nile's waters a backdrop to her tragedy. Modern scholars, sifting through papyri and ruins, paint a truer picture, a ruler fluent in 9 languages, a diplomat who steered Egypt through chaos. Yet myths persist, some claiming her tomb lies submerged in Alexandria's harbour, its treasures guarded by the sea. These tales, unverified, linger like a dream, fueling searches that echo her mystery. As you rest in this scene, feel the soft glow of the screen, the gentle hum of the theatre, and let your body sink, wrapped in the tranquil embrace of her legacy. Cleopatra's story endures, a thread woven through time. Picture the Nile at dusk, its waters reflecting a sky of endless stars, each one a tale of her courage, love, and wisdom. Her name lives in art, literature, and the whispers of those who seek her tomb. Imagine standing on Alexandria's shore, the air cool with the scent of salt and reeds, as her spirit lingers, eternal as the river. Some say she walks among the stars, a goddess beside Isis, though such tales are the stuff of dreams. As you listen, feel the gentle ripple of the Nile, the soft rustle of palm fronds, and let your breath slow, your mind drifting like a lotus bloom carried toward a peaceful sleep.